go straight from the bank, gassing up the tank, cranking up the radio, playing old Hank. It ain't that long.
Hey, welcome! Yeehaw! Welcome! Look at all you guys popping in there. My goodness. Wednesday, once again, Wednesday, July the 10th, 2024. You guys are just popping in there galore. Today's hump day. I tell you what, I'm so tired. All I've been doing is humping, it seems like. Just been humping. Hope you guys all having a good time humping. You know what they say, hump the one you love, huh? Something like that. Anyway, so let's see what's going on in the world. I better shut up before I get in trouble, huh? Let's see here. There's only 174 days left in this year. That's approximately 4,200 hours. We still have 73 days left of summer. Counting down, man. 73 days left of summer is all. So that's just over 2 months left, you know, and then we're going to be going into winter time. So everybody's hotter than hell, I know. Everybody's dying all across the country that I see. Today is National Pina Colada Day. That's such a good thing on this hot day. A nice cold pina colada would be good. It's also National Kitten Day. Tomorrow's National Pet Photo Day. So make sure you take pictures of your pet and post them. That's tomorrow. National Pet Post Day. I got a message. Let me see if this is okay. Trying to log in now. Okay, follow link. Follow link. That's our guest. Okay, so see what else is going on here. What happened on this day of history, 2018? Oh, that's when that soccer team, remember they got stuck in that cave. They went in underwater, and I guess, or they went in a cave and then it filled up with water and they got stuck in there. They were in there for 17 days until they all got rescued out of there. But that was 2018. Wow. Seemed like it was how time flies. But you guys know how they got them kids out of there? From what I heard, what they did to get them out, you know, like I think the Navy SEALs or whoever it was went in there, SEAL teams, to go get them kids out of there. And apparently what they did was they gave them a drug to knock them out, and then they put the mask on them, the full mask, so they would breathe, and then they pulled them out like that one at a time so they all got out. Pretty strange though, but they all got out. I think only one person died, an instructor or something, somebody like that. Anyway, birthdays, Dave, if it's your birthday, happy birthday. Share birthdays like, let's see, Sophia, 52 years old, she's an actress. Jessica Simpson, 44, she's a singer. And let's see what else is going on here. You guys have all had any prizes? You guys should have all, that you won in the past, should have all got all those prizes. There's everything been mailed out. What else is going on here? We could talk about, well, we'll start a wheel next week. I think it is. We'll start it. I got some gold bags and some silver and some metal detector. So we'll maybe do a wheel starting next week. But I am waiting for the guest to pop in. Check email. Check email. So let's see who's in the chat room here. Oh, so we got our New Year's extravaganza, and I don't know what you guys think about it, but we were thought about trying something new this year for our New Year's extravaganza. Be the last 3 days in December, and generally we have entertainment come, a band, and all of that. So we wondered on two prices, like maybe if you did $549, you would get a Garrett metal detector, your choice of an Apex or Vortex V5. You get a pay dirt bag that includes 2 meals and your entertainment. That was a package. Or we could just do $149. Or no, these are if you're, yeah, or $199. You get a pay dirt bag, 2 meals, and your entertainment. And then of course you can dig out on the claims, metal detect, whatever you want to do. and run dirt or whatever you want to do. Let's see who's in the chat room here. Paul, I guess you're first, Paul. Patty's Adventures. Yes, you guys are greeters tonight. Richard Duke, hello. 120. Oh, I see the guest popped in there. So, or at least I heard the pop. So I know he's trying to get in here. Oh, there he is. I see our guest sitting in there. Let's see. Janan, hello. You guys all carrying on the conversations here, aren't you? David, Josh, hello. Neil Young, keep the tunes humming, baby. Mark, hello. Richard Gibson, hello. Guy, hello. 98 here in Pencil, Kentucky. Yeah, it's hot everywhere. Hello, Mark. Steve. Richard Gibson. Prairie Prospecting. Hello. Anyway, so we have a guest tonight. So let's just go ahead and pull our guest on in here and get this show underway here. Right, here we go. And there he is. Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hey, all right. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
It looks like you got some whitewash kind of. I don't know if it's the bright lights behind you.
Yeah, let me try and turn this real quick. Let me see if we can make this disappear.
They just the bright lights behind you is causing you to whitewash out a little bit.
Yeah, let's see. Let me try something real quick. One second.
Mike Bush, hello. I think if you guys haven't got your new claims or the guides, renewals for the club. If you guys want a newsletter, you can go to goldfeverradio.com and you can get it if you want one. Yeah, that's a little bit better.
All right.
All right. Well, hey, why don't you introduce yourself?
All right. So my name's Richard. I basically have the channel Bare Hands Prospecting, and yeah, I'm over here in Northern California, a little north of Sacramento, a little south of Auburn.
Sacramento.
Right.
Is there gold that high up?
There's pretty much gold just about in every little stream, nook and cranny in California. If you can, if you poke around enough, you can find it.
Yeah. So you're bare hands prospecting. So you
Right.
just use your bare hands?
That's it. That in a pan, that's my go-to.
Your who?
It's my go-to. There's just something about being primal and just going out with a pan, kind of how they did back in the little history books, and it's always good to escape and get down a river, dig around. You never know what you're going to end up finding.
Yeah. So what you basically just a gold pan?
Yeah, that's a majority of it. Is just it all kind of just started when I was helping out the church, and my sister-in-law was staying with us, and she had a little sluice box, and they needed a hand clearing out a space from the creek because their irrigation pump was sucking up a bunch of sediment. So I was like, well, since I got to move it anyway, I might as well take this little sluice box down there and see if there's anything down there. And sure enough, there's a couple specks. And when I got done, that kind of what set everything off.
So Janon says, do you go to the River City prospecting meetings in Roseville? You look familiar.
Yep, I sure do.
Ha! Look at that. You're so smart, Janon. So how long you been doing this?
Just a little over a year. I think I started by April last year.
Oh. You're just a newbie then. You're greenhorn.
That's what, so they say.
So
But
go ahead.
in my defense, I've been getting out just about, a couple hours a day, a couple times a week. So, starting off, it took me 3 months to get my first gram, and I've gotten to the point now where I can go out and probably average, about a gram an hour, depending on the spots that I'm hitting.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I would say so. But that was kind of the thing too. When I started out, I was trying to gauge how well that you're doing at it. Like, are you decent at it? Is it good? Is it bad? So when I first started out, I'd be happy, finding a couple little tiny specks in a pan, and I'd be thrilled. I'd sit there for hours, just messing around with just a couple specks.
Oh, yeah. That's so. Whatever got you started in the first place?
Well, I decided to retire and needed a hobby, and my wife was tired of, having me around the house. So I'm looking for another hobby and just something to keep myself busy. So, it's nice to have a hobby that actually kind of pays for itself versus my chainsaw hobby that I had before.
That's what I heard. Gold is about the only hobby that can actually pay you back. Panama prospector, sniping or metal detecting?
I haven't really done much of either. So I just kind of stick with a pan. That's kind of my bread and butter.
What's your favorite? Oh, metal detecting. We don't have no water here for sniping, unless you're talking about going on a snipe hunt.
Right. Now, it's like I got a couple of buddies that have been invited me out over to the Yuba River and did sniping and that. But I've been having a little too much fun just messing around over here. So I haven't had the time to make it out there. It's a little tough when the kids are out of school as well. So trying to make a whole trip out of it is a little challenge right now. Maybe in August.
So is it hot up there too?
Oh yeah, it's pushing over 100 today.
Wow, that's pretty warm. But you guys are in the national forest, something, aren't you?
So we're in the base of the Sierra Nevada foothills. So, it's, I think right around where we're at, it's probably only about 400, 500 feet elevation. So, it's just above the valley.
Oh, that's pretty low. Wow. So the water table's so low. So yeah, I guess that's why there's some gold there. Cool to move, man. So what's the biggest piece of gold?
So again?
What's the biggest piece of gold you found?
So my biggest piece right now is probably only about 0.162 grams. So nothing that's going to break the record books, but a lot of what I mess with it's all really, really fine flour gold. So, the areas that I'm at are, they're mainly hard rock leftovers and stuff like that. So you're not going to find the big chunky nuggets, necessarily, because a lot of the bedrock around here, it's all granite as well. So pretty much anything that makes its way down here just gets beat to heck.
So you got water there year round?
Yeah, there's some water here year round, and then even during the winter, a lot of the other little tributaries start flowing, and those ones actually do pretty well. Sometimes even better than the main ones as well. So you just never know where you're going to find unless you just hop in and panic.
That's true. So do you keep all your gold, or do you how do you sell it, or just keep it all?
I still have all of it. So luckily I've been blessed to not need to rely on it. So it's kind of nice to be able to hold on to it.
That'd be good. I wish I could hold on to my gold. I don't ever.
Right.
I don't
takes a lot of effort to find it, so it kind of becomes a little.
Yeah, it becomes valuable when you got to spend a lot of time finding it.
Right.
Let's see, do you have any problems with mercury?
Oh Oh yeah. There's definitely a lot of amalgamated stuff that we come across down here as well. So, if you check out my channel, I got a couple videos on using a retort on there. That's usually how I tend to deal with it.
So the mercury you're finding, have you determined if it's from old timers or it's just from, nearby cinnabar or whatever that's in the creeks naturally?
So there's definitely a lot of old mine activity around this whole entire area, and up in some other areas out of Prospect as well. Pretty much all of California has some sort of mining activity, and I think there's only been one area that I've come across that it might have been somewhat natural, but everything else is pretty amalgamated.
Yeah, they lost a lot of mercury. I used to dredge and play around in the Stanislaus River down there, further south, and a lot of the gold we found was always in mercury.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff that there's some that gets amalgamated and you can't really tell until you start getting it all cleaned up, and then it'll start wanting to stick to each other. But nothing too crazy, except I've hit a couple spots that have been pretty bad.
Luis Humberto Cortez from Acoma, Chile. I don't know how you say that. Acoma, Chile. Wow, that's a long ways away. Wow. Well, hey, good to see you tuning in from across the world. That's pretty cool about this thing here, that you can reach people from all over the world, man.
Yeah, that's kind of what I really like about starting my channel too. Like my channel just kind of started as a joke. I wasn't really filming too much of what I was doing. It was mainly just hopping in the creek here and there. Dropping my kids off at school, and then for Christmas, my wife's like, "Oh, what do you want for Christmas?" I was like, "I don't know, maybe a GoPro." And she's like, "For what?" I was like, "I don't know, make painting videos." And so that's kind of what happened, and it's been kind of a running joke now that her coworker's like, "Well, he's gonna film like extreme ironing, like for extreme gold panning." And I don't know if you guys are familiar with extreme ironing, but it's when people just take a ironing board out wakeboarding or hiking somewhere and just ironing a shirt. I was like, it's the most ridiculous thing that I've ever come across. All right, so. So I told her coworker, I was like, sure. I was like, I'll make a video on extreme gold panning, and then that was like kind of the first video that I started with, and it did pretty decent. So then I just kind of kept it rolling from there.
Wow. Panama says, what is your pans of preference and classifiers?
So I'm probably maybe one of the few that I don't classify. I just, if I got to shake a pan twice, like, I hate it. And my favorite pan is probably just a 12-inch. It's like a drop bottom pan with the 3 little speed bumps that they like to call them, and that's probably my go-to pan. There's different pans that have different uses that if I'm going to be production panning, the Garrett Super Sluice is pretty decent. But as far as being able to actually poke around and prospect and see what you're actually getting, that's why I tend to use a smaller pan. Like, I like just trying to cherry pick each time that I'm panning, and because a lot of where I'm at, I'm just chasing really, really tiny fine streaks of flour gold. So you can be off your streak real quick, but if you can see what you're panning every time that you're panning, if your pan's getting better or worse, so you can kind of hone in on the streaks and start doing pretty well.
John, let's see what that say. Tomlinson. Hello to all. First time. I'm John T. Hello, John T. Welcome, first time. Yes, this is John T. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Steve Peasley, hello. Steve Collier, hello. Hello. Yeah, so Well, if you don't classify, have you ever used the Gold Claw Gold Pan?
Yeah, I've tried them out, and I've tried a few out, and I always end up back with just a little 12-inch, drop bottom, little speed bump pan. Because the thing is, you can use whatever pan you want, but as long as you stratify correctly, and you're familiar with it, and that's why I always try and tell people too is like, don't get caught up in getting an expensive fancy pan or this product or that product until you can pan with anything first. I can probably get the same amount of gold just using a pie pan. It's just a matter of getting your technique down and watching your material in your pan. So I think every prospector starting out there, there's a lot of mining the miner out there, a lot of marketing, and the reality is you don't need anything fancy to get out there and get started.
And Mark says he likes the Gold Claw. Yeah, Mark, I heard that you just collect them Gold Claws. You've got all types of them. What my understanding is. Well, before I forget, let me go ahead and play a commercial. You hang with us a moment?
Sure.
Okay. We'll be right back, folks. If you need to take a break for a minute, we'll be right back.
ICMJ, the International California Mining Journal, was first published in 1931, 93 years old this year. Since our first issue, our goal has remained the same, and that is to provide miners with a voice, a marketplace for their goods and services, and to offer expert advice and tips from our knowledgeable writers, miners, geologists, all in the field. We still offer our 12 and 24-month print subscriptions, but keeping up with the times and with our reader requests, the digital online subscription option allows for a simple and gorgeous reading experience using your preferred technology, your phone, your tablet, or computer. Sign up for our print, online, or both print and online at www.icmj.com or call us at 831-479-1500. For our advertising services, both display advertising and classifieds, select the Miners Market section or call us. Happy prospecting.
Happy prospecting. Excellent magazine, guys. So, you guys that don't have copies of them. Mark, you only got 6 of them. Yeah. Let's see. How much have you collected? How much gold have you collected?
Well, let's see. For the last, doing this for about a year and a half now, and so I made a nice little miner's button there, and that's about 16 grams. And then I got little 2 ounces that I've made, from the last year, and it took me till about, I think, January, like the end of January, to get 2 ounces. And then from, this is probably about almost 20 grams there.
Wow.
And then this was from the last 2 little outings, so a little over, close to almost 4 grams. So
I'm prospecting in the wrong spot. I guess I got to come to California and do some prospecting. Hey,
I mean, it takes some work, and it's a lot of finding out where it's not versus where it is.
Yeah, you can tell where more places where it's not, where there what it is. But out here, we just run a dry washer. That's all we can do, or bring dirt back and set up a little recirculator, so we don't get that type of.
Have you tried dry panning?
Yeah, but dry pan is not as efficient as that's just basically for testing to see if there's any gold in the wash where you're at.
Right.
Then you got.
But I highly recommend for anybody out there too. It's like when I first started out too, it was just going out to dig just to try and find something, and that's why I'm a big advocate of making sure that you're panning before you start shoveling and testing your material first, unless you just enjoy getting out and exercising. But I think we all want to get out there and actually get gold, right?
Yeah, I mean, most of the places out here did, the old timers have been there and they've tore the washes up already, so there's gold in the washes already. It's just a matter of trying to find the spots that they haven't been. So when you go out, do you go out on like, you got your own claims? Are you involved with any clubs?
So I'm involved with a couple different clubs, and then Josh Rinke, part of that group as well, and they got some claims that you have access to as well. But a lot of what I do, it's a lot of private property. I've been blessed to stay retired and meet a lot of people through my church and that as well. And a lot of those people tend to have acreage and stuff like that, and creeks that run through them. And there's lots of open areas as well, like the Auburn recreational area out there. That's all hands and pans area, but that's all up for grabs too. So anybody can get out there and do the same.
Cool. Yeah, we don't have no water here in Arizona. Very little gold in Pennsylvania. Yeah, very little. If you got any, I guess that's glacial drift from there. No gold in Texas. Well, that's because in Texas, all you have is everything underground is oil. So that oil gets rid of all of the, that's Texas gold though, the oil.
Right.
So you guys got oil. That's why you don't have gold. Pennsylvania, yeah, you're too far, yeah, out there in La La Land. It's funny that, yeah, in the middle states, you really guys don't have a lot. Well, I guess you got some in like Alabama and Indiana, stuff like that, but most of the gold that goes on the East Coast. No gold in Mississippi. Yeah, well, actually, gold has been found in every single state.
Right. It's just a matter of what quantity it is to actually make it worthwhile.
Yeah. Gold has been found in every state, and I think it's been commercially mined in every state except 3. But yep, there is gold everywhere. There's lots of mud, huh? Yeah, lots of mud in Mississippi. Well, you guys, that's why you got that Mississippi mud, they call it. Georgia's got Georgia clay, Mississippi got Mississippi mud. So what clubs do you belong in back up in there?
What clubs?
Yeah.
So, like anybody in this area, I think that the River City Prospectors Club is probably like the only club that is kind of active right now around the Sacramento like Roseville area, and they meet like every third Tuesday of the month, I believe, down at the Denny's on Sunrise and Douglas in Roseville. So, but they used to have the I think it was the Motherlode Gold Hounds at one point, and that club just hasn't kind of reformed or whatever. Another club that I went to and visited was a detecting club over in Placerville. I forgot the name of it, but the owner of Placerville Hardware down there, he's one of the members down there. I think he's taken over one of the board positions over there as well. So there's other groups and clubs and stuff out there. But for me, like I started out just kind of lone wolfing it by myself for probably about a good year, and just doing joined a couple of Facebook groups, and one of them over here was Placer County Miners, and I posted on there to do a little meetup, and then I had one of my good prospecting buddies, Linda Miller. She was the only one that met up with me, but then her and I have been going out and prospecting, for about a year, and we both got better. And it always recommend trying to find somebody to go with for safety for one, and for two, you kind of learn from each other as well. Because by the time I got to the club meetings, I kind of realized that they didn't really have much to offer me at that point, because I kind of had already surpassed the level of the information that would have been helpful had I started there.
Let's see. Let's see. The I can't say that name. Hell vegan. Hell vegan. Hello, everyone. Uh, that's got to be from Venezuela or something. You can call me. Okay. Yeah. So, did any of the fires cause any problems with any sediments getting in any of the rivers?
There's a few that have that I've attempted to go up, and yeah, it can cause some problems as well. But once you get the good rain and stuff too, I mean, it kind of causes some mudslides and that as well. And sometimes it actually, you know, brings back down better material as well. So it ebbs and flows, and that's kind of what you see in your layers in your rivers as well, of the different flood layers. And you can kind of see in certain rivers where they did have fires before, and then the years of the layers, and you'll see kind of like the ash layer actually still in there in some of them.
Cool. Let's see. I'm just seeing what everybody's saying here. Can you see people from the chat room?
Me, not currently.
Oh, okay.
Fix it.
Yeah, just people just talking. Just trying to read what people are saying here. Roaring Camp. I can't afford to go Roaring Camp there, Janon. They're too pricey for me.
Right.
Yeah, one day when I can be able to afford to travel around and have more free time, I think that I would like to venture out and do some prospecting, maybe in California. Yay! I used to enjoy going out there. I remember years and years ago, flew into Sacramento, and then we drove all the way back down into Oregon, doing mining claims and stuff like that. That was 20, 30 years ago, though. But I always used to play in. I used to go to California every year up around. God, I don't remember how far up. I mean, like Truckee and Susanville. I think I used to stay up there in Susanville, wherever that's located at.
Yeah. So all around there is pretty much gold just about everywhere you go throughout that area. So and that's why I try and tell people too. You don't need to go to the like the big tributaries necessarily. There's gold came here a long time ago, and it's moved around a lot. So where we think that that's where the channel ran, thousands of years before that, it actually ran somewhere else. So it gets moved and bumped around quite a bit. So you never know what you're going to find in any little tributary, little wash, anything like that as well. So that's kind of how it started. Like I ended up doing better down around just like little parks and little open areas and stuff like that, and checking little culverts under the road, a little bit everywhere. I just throw my waders on, throw my pan inside my waders with my shovel, and just cruise around. And you never know what you're going to actually find.
You never know what you find. Trucking Nomad, do the common operation at Roaring Camp. Yeah, one day I'll get there. Tell Bill Hornbrook to hook me up. Yeah, he'll hook me up. You guys, it looks like a few of you guys been to Roaring Camp. 10 grams. That's pretty good gold. Let's see. Everyone talks about the Yuba. Have you ever been there?
Yeah, I've been to the Yuba, and the Yuba is definitely a little different animal than say the Bear River, for instance. But the Yuba River, been up there a couple times, and at first, I'm trying to check them down in the water line, and the Yuba's been hit pretty hard by all the open areas, but there's still plenty of gold there to go around. But what I really like about the Yuba is actually go outside of the water line. depending on the area, you can probably get about 50, 60 feet outside of the water line. And if you could find the kind of like a rust layer and down inside some of those boulders that you can dig out that are kind of hard packed up there, you actually end up doing pretty well and can find a few little bigger pieces up there.
So, is it most of the gold you're finding is smaller stuff then?
Like typically where I prospect, it's all pretty fine, but the Yuba it can be a little chunkier. So in order to find the chunkier stuff, you got to find the harder packed stuff that's a little higher up in the water line. To me, in my opinion, it seems like some areas on the Yuba, when the water gets racing, unless there's something for it to grab, it kind of just blows right through there. So, you can, and a lot of those areas that, where the gold usually gets trapped, all those areas are one of the first ones that are hit. So, if you're going out there, try checking around some other places too that, don't follow the same beat of the path of checking your inside bends and all that. I mean, you can start there, but if you're striking out, start looking elsewhere.
So yellow dog. Let's see. Yeah, Bill's been on here before a long time ago. I'll have to reach back out to Bill and get him back on here. I know he's a character. Let me make a note right here. So I just went to your channel. I just subscribed to your channel. So everybody else can go to your channel here and subscribe to your channel, Bare Hands Prospecting.
Yeah, I basically started out on Facebook. I think I have almost 1,000 followers now, which is kind of funny to me because I just kind of started out as a joke, and then I think once I get some more content loaded as well, I'll start uploading a little more to YouTube. But one of my videos that did pretty well recently is I made a remote controlled automatic classified bucket, and it's just kind of something I was messing around with in the workshop one night. Had a bunch of pan and cons in that I was trying to clean up with the blue bowl, and I was like, man, how the heck am I gonna classify through all this? So I just started piecing around little parts that I had from other projects from the last year, because when you start prospecting, the first thing you want to do is look up all the information you possibly can about it. And it's kind of funny, as soon as you get the little bug in it, you're trying to research every little thing you can about it. So you come across Alan's bucket blaster, let's see, and the Gold Hog videos with Doc, and all kinds of different content. So my main thing is
what does that thing do? What does that thing do? Motorized incognito classifying bucket field with remote. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Well, what does that do?
So it's a remote control classifying bucket that shakes your bucket automatically, so you don't have to sit there and shake your bucket.
Oh, okay, I see that. Okay, yeah, no, I looked at this a long time ago. You're putting a motor down at the bottom down there, underneath,
right,
and you're stacking buckets down in there.
Right. So I was just trying to, I was kind of looking at other things. There was they have the earthquake table, and that thing was super crazy for one, and for two, it was it's kind of a pain to carry around, and I kind of want to keep it incognito as well, and going in, because some places in California can't have motorized this, that, whatever. So for some people that want to go that route, there's an option for you. So, and keeps everything concealed in a bucket. But I would highly recommend making sure that your battery is waterproof. I made the mistake of taking the cover off one of my batteries before, and that lithium batteries and water do not mix, so make sure that it has a sealed case. So that's what I would recommend. But it works great.
No,
so if you guys are interested in building your own little automatic classifying shaker bucket, check out my channel and check out the page. I posted a video just for you guys.
Yeah, it looks like I was just looking years ago. I made one for the earthquake people. I met them a long time ago. They're from California. The one guy, he just died not too long ago. But so I used to talk to the earthquake people all the time about their motors that they used on it. But this, it looks like the same motor that I put on a dry shaker to do a dry. It's a cement mixer, right? 12-volt cement mixer motor.
Yeah, it's a cement vibrator motor, because I originally got that to make like a classifying screen, like over a wheelbarrow type thing, and I never got around to doing that. And then I just enjoyed panning, and I hated classifying anyway, so I just learned to pan without classifying. So, but I wanted to add something to panning without classifying, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're blowing gold, this, that, whatever." And the thing is, like, yeah, I know I'm losing some gold, but I've tested my pans, and I'm about 92% the way that I pan, and I've learned to pan that way. But with that being said, when I'm prospecting and checking out areas, I'm just looking I want to be able to see the gold in my pan, and I don't want to be able to take all day classifying it down. Once I find an area that I know has gold, and I know exactly where the streak is, then I can go ahead and bust out a bigger pan and a production pan, and then I'll just shovel in the pan, and I'll do that about 5 times without looking at the bottom of the pan, and I'll dump that straight into a bucket. So that's how you can process a lot of material without having to sit there and look through your pan to see if you're getting gold. Like once you identify the streak and you mark it all out, you know what direction it's running, and you've taken the time to make like a grid pattern with your pan, with your smaller pan, and see your gold, then you can come back with a production pan, and then you can start actually just mark off your spots and just start working all that material, because all that's good.
Okay, so I see that Mark. Mark said, I just signed up for your club membership. I see that, Mark. I just went on the line and saw that. So I'll get you out your membership package and a badge to you. So cool to mundo. Yeah, we have a private club out here, prospecting club, that I think we got like 24 claims or something like that. Backroads Gold. Hello. Well, Trucking Nomad. Yeah, the rust layer of the gold country is the magic stuff. Hammer drill the cemented gravels. That's what he's saying.
Yes. So the other thing too that when I first started out too, like I hit a couple areas of clay, and trying to pan through them or break them down or whatever was kind of a pain in the butt. So what I came up with was just using a mortar mixer on a drill, and take a little cordless drill with a mortar mixer and just shovel the material into a bucket and just hit it with the mortar mixer and it's real nice, and then you can run it through whatever you want after that.
Panama Prospector got some old school tools that are great hidden in his storage. Okay. Yeah, Mark, you're coming out to the Patreon outing, aren't you? We're going to be doing some detecting then. So we'll have some fun in that thing, desert detecting. You can find some meteorites. Yeah, gold out here, most of the gold here we find detecting. The trucking, did you use a hammer drill? I have found that Ryobi has a small little impact hammer drill that it just uses the battery, so you can just take that out there, put your little hammer drill on there, and bust up some of that rock or bedrock and stuff. It works pretty cool. We'll hope to see you out there. So that's all you do full time? You don't work? You said you're retired?
Correct.
What'd you retire from?
So the Air Force for one, and then after that I was restoring World War II Corsairs over in Cameron Park for a little while, and then decided to take a break from that, and so now I just get to stay home with the kids, and my wife is still working, and just is better just to be home and be with the kids while you can.
I was gonna say that's pretty good if you're retired. Cause, I mean, just by looking, it looks like you're like 23 years old.
I was like, I'm pushing 40.
Well, I'm looking at the light. You know, it's
Yeah, but the whitewash takes away all the wrinkles, I guess. So yeah,
yeah,
I'll have
makes
to
you
remove
makes
that
you look
from
younger. Yeah, yeah. I'm pushing 40 something. You know. Yeah. Let's see. I watch you use that Ryobi. Yeah, the Ryobi works pretty good. I like that. If you're
Yeah,
working,
I've also just used those long, like kind of like almost like a long halt or long hard point for like busting out rocks when you're digging fence posts. And it's probably about just a 5 foot long bar with a tip on it.
what bar?
And yeah, and those work pretty good too.
Yeah.
But they definitely wear you out.
Yeah. No, you just have to get one of them small little Ryobi hammer drills.
or find somebody with some younger muscles for you, So
Yeah, but you got to carry that stuff. So that's carrying that heavy bar, where you can put that drill in your backpack and with your pen and all that,
for sure. And that's part of why I like panning too, because it's you can get in a lot more areas than you would ever be able to if you had to carry a bunch of gear with you. Like you can go start hitting up spots that are pretty far for hikes and not easy to steep be able to get into, because if you're carrying your gear and trying to carry a sluice or anything else with you, you can definitely get in a lot tighter areas.
Mark says, Richard, you should have come to our veterans event. Retired vet myself, 20 years in Panama. All right. Well, all you vets, thank you for your services. Cool the mundo, man.
And yes, I was planning on coming to that veterans event, but I had some prior engagements I had to attend. I was helping out with a youth camp down in Sonoma for the other week, and then last week we were in South Lake Tahoe. So vacations out with the summer, so with kiddos. So I haven't been able to get out as much as I planned on, but I'll get back out there.
Mark says it was hot anyway, so.
And once you're down in the water, it's all good.
Hey, Janon, did you get the link I sent to you to be the assistant on the show? Harbor Freight has some great deals on a free hammer drill when you buy a battery. Yeah, that's yeah, no, I just like the little portable things. Them big things, they're no, I must have missed that email. Yeah. So Jennifer, hello Jennifer. Beautiful weather in Lost Basin. Well, yes. What is it? Did it reach 140 today? Was it, or was it only 130 up there today? Because right now my thermometer says broken. Check back tomorrow.
I was born and raised in Arizona on the west side of Phoenix, and
Okay.
yeah, I did not miss the. I will die a happy person if I never see a cactus again. So
139.75. Yeah, I thought that's about what it is. 116 here now, it says. So,
yeah, no.
Yeah. I'll be back up there. I'm going to Meadview, not this weekend. Weekend of the 19th, somewhere around that 19th, whatever that is, around in there. I'll be back up there for a few days. It's probably too hot to metal detect, but that's where I go to find all my gold metal detecting, which I can't find no more. It's all on Jennifer's place. We got to have a big party at Jennifer's place where the gold's at.
So Jack, I had a question for you. So there's a lot of newer prospectors trying to get into the market lately that I've noticed. With the gold rush shows and everything else. So what are some things that you would recommend for a new prospector that's just starting out, and what are some tips and advice that you would give them?
Well, it's probably what you've done. The best thing you can do is join your local clubs, because then you're going to learn from other people and go out with them and start to learn, where gold is and what they're looking for. Some of your, your veterans that's doing it, that's going to be your number one tool. And then you're just going to have to go try to find all the places where gold is not. And then you'll start to learn, you mentioned the gold pan. The gold pan's your number one tool. Everything starts with the gold pan, ends with the gold pan. So you got to learn the gold pan. And then from there, just branch out.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I wish that I had started off with, because once I got to the point where I had kind of already figured everything out, it just if I would have started there, it probably would have put me ahead probably about a good 7-8 months of just messing around on my own and learning the hard way. So, and I always recommend trying to find somebody else that can take you out for at least for your first time. So for one, you know exactly what's gold and what isn't gold. Because if you've never seen gold before, it's hard to just, you think everything shiny is gold. So that's probably the other tip too is, if you're sitting at home and you want to practice, get some actual pay dirt that's guaranteed. And then once you see gold, you'll never be able to not know if it's gold or not. So.
Yeah, it's good pay dirt. That's practice sand. It's not pay dirt. We're actually paying for the dirt. So that's why
exactly.
Yeah, GSSN. They're probably the main club up there in the Lost Basin, Gold Basin area. Sell that pay dirt. It's I put together. Oh, I got to show you. I got my new decals, some new decals in.
There you go.
But anyway, so I put together some pay dirt bags. See? But I've got these that I'll do for the wheel. I don't like to sell pay dirt, and I'm going to tell you the reason I don't like to sell pay dirt, because I feel like I'm robbing people. If you say you buy a bag of pay dirt for $50, well, you've got to pay for shipping on top of that. So there's, for a bag of that dirt, that's going to cost you $8 or something to ship that out, $7 or $8. You got to pay for the bags you're putting the dirt in. You got to pay for any of the stickers that you're putting on there. So the amount of gold you can only put in a $50 bag is probably only going to be $25, $30 worth of gold. And so I feel like people are not getting their money's worth to do that. And that's why I hate to sell pay dirt bags.
Yeah, and I agree on that too. And I thought about getting into the pay dirt game as well. But the other issue with that too is a lot of the people that buy pay dirt are relatively new prospectors, and even if you put a guaranteed amount in there, and a lot of them aren't going to be able to recover the full amount that's in there as well. And then then you have to deal with the naysayers and everything else. And you just look at the reviews on pay dirt sellers, and I've tested a lot of that pay dirt every now and again, when some at the club meets and everything else, and everything checks out. You're not going to be able to get your full return on investment on there, but I say if you can get around 70% for pay dirt with shipping and everything else, you're doing pretty dang good.
Yeah, so like I say, so if somebody, like they say, some people say they want a bag. I don't mind selling a bag as long as they understand, what's behind it all. That's right. What it's main for is practice sand. It's got gold in it. Now, years and years ago, when we used to help out what was called Gold Rush Days out in this area, so we used to go out and get the sand, and then the chamber would give us a couple ounces of gold to salt the sand in. And then Gold Rush Days, people would pay to come in the gold pan. Well, when the event was over, we got to keep all that sand that was salted. So if I brought back 10, 15, 20 buckets of this sand that has gold in it, so then I would put that in pay dirt bags and then add gold to it. Because now people are going to get that and say, wow, this was loaded with gold. Well, they got a good bag, Now, I didn't mind doing that, but just to have to go out in the desert, get dirt, turn around, I just have a hard time doing that.
Same here. So kudos to you guys that do it though, because I mean to go out and find gold yourself, or I mean even if you're buying it from somebody else to make bags, you know, it's a challenging enterprise to take on, because you know a lot of people don't understand exactly what it is either. So.
Yeah. Now, when I used to have a prospecting store, and people would come in and sell me their gold. Generally, you buy gold around 75 to 80% of spot price, and then when you're selling the gold, for some reason it seems to be spot or above, you know, to sell it to people. So these big time people that are buying this gold at 70% or less of spot price, well, they can turn around to basically put more, you know, that gold in bags because they didn't pay for it, the gold, or they got it for a lot less. But if somebody has to buy gold for a higher premium, you can't put that gold in a bag to give anybody a good return on it.
Absolutely. So what are your favorite kind of sluices?
I don't do much solution because we don't have water. I do.
Well, because like, I wanted to touch on that too, because you know I've used it quite a few different sluices as well, and you know the one thing that I've come across is like the one thing, and that is guaranteed, you know, the most flexible is probably just, you know, your standard, you know, like 3M Nomad Miner's Moss with expanded metal, and that pretty much hands down has, you know, exceeded any expectation I have with the sluice, because you know, I've used the traps, the bazookas, the bazooka fluid sluice, and I actually like those as well. The problem is you just can't run that much material through them, but you don't have to classify it. And then the same with the Latrap, like drop bottom sluice.
Yeah.
Those ones work okay too, but as soon as you overload them, then you start losing
Right.
pretty good amount of stuff. And then the Dream Mat, I am not a fan of Dream Mat. If you're going to have very controlled situations and your gold remains the same and you have your settings dialed in, sure, but you know, just know that, you know, you're probably going to want to rerun your tailings as well. So you will get reduced cons, but you also get reduced gold, in my opinion. So
No,
that's
you're right.
that is just my opinion. I'm not, you know, I know there's the Dream Mat for lifers out there, but in my opinion, you haven't used anything else and you haven't checked your tailings. So I'll leave that one right there. But I would recommend the Blue Bowl. The Blue Bowl's been pretty good for me. The gold cube. If you sluice first and then you use the gold cube, and then that'll actually concentrate all your concentrates down pretty well, and then you can Blue Bowl from there. And that seems to be the quickest process that I've come across, and for reducing a good amount of concentration, or reducing cons, basically.
Well, when they get to Blue Bowl size, I have learned I just use mercury. I don't play with Blue Bowls anymore. but you're talking to solutions. You're right. I'm not a fan of rubber mats. I'm not a fan. Never have been. I'm a miner's moss and expanded metal. So when you're talking solutions, I think the solutions that have up front, and King's just started doing these from what I've seen, where they have the smaller punch plate up front. So things are going over that punch plate first. So anything smaller drops out kind of up in the front and gets out of the flow of that water.
Yeah, and I have a Keen Mini Max High Banker as well, and I think that's a great little setup too. I mean, it has its quirks, but for the mass market, I think it is a very I would recommend it for somebody who is kind of just starting out, like after they learn the pan, because you can use it as just a sluice by itself. They have rubber mats on as well, but their mats do pretty good. I've had pretty good luck with it, and you know, I'm getting, you know, close over 90%, even on a bad day. So you can get them dialed in probably around 97% on there. So So those work pretty good, and the high banker works well. But for me, there's limited places that I can use it. But it works great for cleaning up cons and classifying other stuff down too. So I recommend it for somebody that's starting out, and it's something that can grow with them. So you can use it as a sluice, you can use it as a high banker, and you can use it as a concentrator, and they all work pretty decently.
So Panama says, Jack, you're a dry river prospector, and he's a wet river prospector. Who wins? Well, I'll tell you that gold separates better in water than it does with air. So you're going to find more gold in the water than you will find in the washes, just because of the concentration of the water that moves that to collective spots. But if you're talking metal detecting, you'll find bigger gold metal detecting than you will anything else. I mean, I found this one rock out here one time that had 18 grams of gold in it, and
Right.
I found a lot of gold metal detecting.
But how many times have you gotten skunked though?
Oh, I get skunked all the time. But
Yeah, see, I've never been skunked. So the thing is, like, you have to take that on a longer span and divide it by how many hours and what it actually equals out to. Because you can find a lot bigger finds metal detecting, but there's also going to be days when you're spending hours out there in the heat, sore as heck, and not finding a dang thing. So
I agree with you. I used to be the exact same way. I would tell people, you guys don't find anything. I'm finding gold every day dry washing. I'll spend all day just shoveling and dry washing. I'm finding gold. But you know what? My theory now is, okay, that's a lot of work, and I'm getting older, so I may go out and swing the detector around. That's nothing to swing the detector around. So I don't find anything for 3 or 4 days. If I find something, generally they're going to be 4 grams, 5 grams, 10-gram nuggets. You can find 3-ounce nuggets. That's going to be more than I would have found dry washing every day. So I'm actually working smarter, not harder. And I enjoy metal detecting. So
and that's just it too. Is like, do what you actually enjoy, because the thing is too is like, it's real easy to let the hobby kind of get away from you as well. So that's why it's like, one of my comments, like, man, if I was finding gold like that, I'd be there all day. It's like, but the thing is, as soon as you dig up a good hole, you got to go find the next one. So what's the rush? So if you're just trying to have fun with it.
That's it. Just have fun. Trucking says, learn to read topo maps and read where the old timers worked.
Yeah, and that is very, very true. Pretty much if you were starting out too, make sure research. Do your research and find out where the gold has already been located. There's been people that have already done this for you. Also, what I like to do too, if I'm going up to newer areas that I haven't really prospected, especially like Forest Hill, north of that, up in Shasta County, even over by Relic, it's like, go hit up the local libraries, because a lot of those libraries actually have more information than you're going to find on the internet. The internet has only been around, say the 2000s roughly, right? But a lot of the libraries have a lot of reference use only material in them, and they have different maps and stuff too, and you can check out what the lands look like before everything changed, with subdivisions come in and everything else. So you can find pictures of old mining camps, and they kind of tell you what a lot of the roads had different names than what they have now. So you kind of find that out in your research as well.
I just sent an article into these guys, and so if they publish it in this next month, it talks about desert prospecting, on how to find gold in the desert. Some of it will be good for the other stuff too, but let's see, what was I missing here? Jennifer says, best advice can give a new detector is to have a test nugget and use it so you know what gold sounds like when you're detecting, so you have confidence when you walk away from the ground noise. Janon, yeah, my mom always told me that prospecting is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Very true.
Uh,
You don't, like I said, you don't know unless you pan it. So, you know.
you mean a box of chocolates? Yeah. Rolling is usually a really bad return. Whatever that. I'm missing some stuff. Roaring. Paul says he's in Wisconsin. And if I go somewhere to pan like Montana or Arizona and get a couple grams of gold, it would be a better deal to get some pay dirt from you, Jack. Well, yeah, if you've got to travel from, you know what, if you're up in Wisconsin, depending on where you're from, Paul, I'd be metal detecting because Wisconsin and, you know, like Wisconsin and Michigan and that, you know, you guys got that copper artifacts up in there, the Indian artifacts. And man, I love finding them up in them areas. So,
Well, not only that, but Michigan has gold. Wisconsin has some gold as well. You know, there's a lot of glacier tills that kind of move through there as well. So if you can find the path of those glaciers, and they happen to be in your area, probably be all right too. And that's where research, you know, comes into play as well.
yeah, well, yeah, in Michigan, you got to go up Copper Harbor area, northern Michigan, and then they have the lower parts is kind of finer gold up there, but you get up in the upper part. But yeah, there's a lot of copper that place.
Well, some of the areas that I do pretty well as well, like they're not really known as a gold producing area, but you know, everything's kind of worked its way all the way around. So you know, that's why they always say gold is where you find it, right?
Gold
never
is where you find it. Yeah, next month I'm going to Colorado to do some dredging in Colorado.
That'd be nice.
You know,
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, like hopefully in California they'll kind of, I don't ever see it, but you know, hopefully they'll bring it back because it's kind of ridiculous. So.
yeah, no, I don't think gold dredging will ever come back to California like it did back in the night. I mean, I used to dredge there in the 90s when we used to go there. It was fun. I mean, dredging is probably one of the easiest ways to get gold because you're really just laying there with your nozzle and just moving it around and just letting it, you know, suck up the material. So it's kind of simple, easy to do.
And as long as you don't have to haul your equipment back and forth, I guess.
Well, that's once you get it set up. But hopefully you don't have to go too far. Yeah. Bought pay dirt before the price of gold went up. You're doing pretty good now. Well, that's it. If you buy it now and hold on to it for about a couple years before you do then yeah. But anyway, you guys know how I feel about pay dirt bags. That's why I don't like to sell pay dirt bags. What kind of camp do you live in, Jack? I live in an RV park that there used to be a Christian camp, and bought it and put in RV spots. So it's a it's a camp, and we got mining claims close by. So people come out here, stay in camp, and then go out to the claims. I'm going to use this as a base camp. Let's see, metal detector for the hot spots, then dry wash recirculation, the metal detector hot spots. Okay, what is your best research site? You got a good research site to go research anything?
Yeah. So let's see. I think it's GAIA Maps. It's an app. It'll show you historic, diggings or workings in the areas. Also, is it Onyx Hunt is another app that's pretty good. It'll show you like the property addresses of, say there's vacant land, but you don't know how to contact the property owners. You can go list their mailing address that you can actually, write a letter and ask for information. And that's another thing I like to add too, is a lot of the areas that I work, they're all private property, but I do a lot of door knocking, or somebody's outside their house will stop by and just ask them, be like, hey, I know about
right. Well, it's better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission.
I don't know.
Well, because if you ask and they say no, well then you can't. But if you just do it, then oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. But you're right about when they're putting in new subdivisions, especially in gold bearing areas, because they're stirring all that dirt and pulling up dirt and everything, and all them piles of dirt. Just go in and start filling buckets of dirt and hauling them home to process them.
Right. Well, especially if you know that, if you have a known area that you work to, and all of a sudden the subdivision's hopping up, and you're like, oh, yeah, let me go check that out. So, it's like I say, stay within your means. Like if you're not, there are consequences to your actions. Learn your areas, learn your laws. And my thing is do whatever you're comfortable with, but that's to each their own, really.
No, just take your little concentrator in there and set by some of them piles of dirt and just start classifying the dirt out. And if they come and ask you what you're doing, just say you're just helping them out in the off hours, just getting rid of some of these rocks out of this dirt. So
yeah. So and like I said, like a lot of the thing is too is like you go out there and the construction guys are out there working or whatever, and you swing by and you talk to them, have a conversation, and just tell them, hey, you're interested in prospecting. Do they mind? And a lot of them, they don't care. So they just think it's interesting. So then you know that you don't have a problem either. So that's why I'm always try to be straight up with everybody, because it usually works out anyway. So if it doesn't, I'd rather go somewhere that I know that I can go and have fun and not have to, worry about anything. So
especially if you're drinking a beer. You're drinking a beer and say, hey, how you guys doing today? Hey, I'll give you a beer if I can run some. They'll say, yeah, no problem, dude.
Yeah, so like I got a couple areas, I was like, I do a little bit of, yard work picking up or whatever for them, little odds and ends. And I was like, if you don't mind if I hop in your creek and, I'll go make my own money, so it just really depends on the situation. But yeah, like over kind of where I'm at, that's kind of how it is. But just be open, be respectful. And if somebody asks you to leave, just leave, and don't get caught coming back.
So Mike says, can you do any crevicing in your area?
Yeah, there's areas to crevice. A lot of the geology. There's actually some ancient rivers and stuff that actually kind of run around all this area in California, and just kind of knowing what channels in your area. But a lot of the bedrock that is local isn't very crevicing friendly because it's granite and it's not doesn't really form the fissures like you start getting further up like if you go up to like the Yuba is really good for crevicing, but there's mixed bags too because if you go east, south, north, and west, the geology changes pretty quick. So there's going to be certain areas, all dependent on the formation of the bedrock. And, if you have actual bedrock that actually splits and cracks, sure. But if you have other types of bedrock that are just smooth and don't really break apart like the little fissures do, then, it's like, but you don't know. Go ahead and try it because, granite breaks too. So there's some, I'm sure there's some, but I haven't found it to be worthwhile in my area to just specifically focus on that.
When you're in the creeks there and you got all that bedrock, you have a hammer with you, and you tap on the rocks, and the rocks that make kind of them hollow sounds are very loose and easy to break apart, and you can just pop them out. And there seems to be more gold around them hollow rocks than there are around the hard pack type rocks.
Oh, absolutely. Like and that's what, I just run around with my shovel and a pan and like, you can stick your shovel on it and you can hear it, ting, ting, ting. You do it enough times, you can use it to find out if gravel pack is hard or soft, or if you're hitting straight up sand and fluff. And, but that's true too, is like, if you can find granite, the trick about if you're working in a granite bedrock area, if you can find the layer where it's actually starting to decompose and crumble, but it hasn't actually separated and left yet, usually those kind of fill with some clay. And if it's soft enough to actually dig your shovel into, those areas actually do pretty good because it's kind of like almost like little mini crevices, but it's all going to be flower stuff for the most part. But those do pretty good as well.
That's probably one of the biggest secret, I shouldn't say secret, but one of the biggest indicators of gold is granite.
Yeah, and I've recently was helping a friend out, and they got property up in the Ophir district up there, and like there's a lot of hard rock that was done in the area, and took some samples home and that, and started messing with those, but it's a lot more work getting into hard rock and than going down to a river where it's already done the work for you. So
do you use a metal detector?
I don't use a metal detector personally, but I have plenty of friends that have them. But that's probably going to be the next natural course of progression is going in and getting a detector because but like we talked about too is like I kind of like going out and not getting skunked every day, so I like going out and getting it guaranteed versus going out there. But at the same time, they do have their benefits besides gold because they find artifacts with them. Like I found a ancient Chinese cash coin just down in the river messing around. But there's plenty of other stuff to be found with them. And then my one of the areas that I was working, his neighbor lost his earplug in the middle of some acreage off his riding lawnmower, and my buddy was with me and had his detector with him and was able to go over there and find it, and basically opened up new ground for us too. So now we can go over there and mess around too. So so they definitely have their place.
Cool. Panama says, yeah, just go to them work sites, give them a cold drink. They'll be more than happy to let you carry off some dirt.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. Anybody got any questions? Any more questions for? So again, your channel is Bare Hands Prospecting. They're on YouTube, you say, and also Facebook.
Yeah, I'm mainly on Facebook. Like just trying to stick with one platform because, like I said, I wasn't really trying to make this into anything, but it started gaining a little traction. So it looks like I haven't made any new videos or posted anything really recent because I've been out on vacation, but it looks like I'm gonna have to get back on it. And once I get some content loaded to Facebook too, I'll probably start uploading to other platforms as well. So, but I think I'm basically just gonna focus on keep the channel kind of more panning prospecting. Maybe we'll start adding a little sluice and high bank and stuff in there too, occasionally. But mainly I just want to focus on my progression on how what I started with, what worked for me, what didn't work for me, and because the one thing that I realized during this is there's a lot of mine the miner out there, a lot of marketing, and a lot of stuff doesn't come out. You spend harder money on stuff, and it doesn't pan out, right? So just kind of stick on that journey and trying to help new prospectors coming in and kind of gain other tips from more seasoned prospectors as well. So
cool. All right. Well, okay, we'll wrap things up here then. Been going an hour and 20 minutes, so hey, pretty cool. Anything you want to touch on, or anything you want to say?
For me, it's just like thank you for having me on. I mean, it was cool to get an invite to do a radio/podcast. My first time doing one, and like I said, first time people are actually going to see a face to my page, because I've tried to keep it incognito, just trying to keep it separate. So yeah. So if you see me at the meeting, yeah, it's me. So
It's amazing that somebody recognized you. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah. All right, Richard. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You never, it's a small world out there. The mining community seems to be a small little niche of people. So.
Yeah, well, and then like with social media too, that's why like I just want to kind of keep it separate from me, and see where it goes. So we'll see what happens.
Janon says she remembers faces. Yeah. All right. Anyways, okay, cool, man. Well, hey, appreciate you taking some time. We love to talk to prospectors of all types. We talked about anybody that wants to spend some time to talk to us. So always learn.
So I got a question for you real quick, Jack. So what is, because my research is if you can make 2 grams a day, then you're considered a prospector. Is that legit, or is it less than that?
No, that's not true at all. The deal of it is, when you're looking for gold, you're a prospector. Once you locate the gold and start retrieving it, then you become a miner.
All right, I'll stick with prospecting.
Well, you're already mining it, so you're now a gold miner. But
that's what I enjoy too, though. Like I enjoy going out and finding new and different spots. Every different season of the year. Trying to set yourself up later too. So if your spot gets flooded out, maybe find a spot that's higher up in the bank. Find one that's in shade. Find one that's in sun. So always have something lined up, because as soon as you find it and you dig it up, then you got to move on to the next one anyway.
Yeah. No, you find more gold than out here in the desert. We, generally, I remember years and years ago when we used to go out and fill buckets of dirt, and then we'd bring them back to camp, and we'd run them through a recirculator, a high banker, just kind of to recirculate it. And we always thought that we at least had to get 1 to 2 grains per bucket of dirt. If that's back when gold was measured with the grains, because gold was only, say, $480 around them things. So if you got 1 grain a bucket, you would need 480 buckets to get a gram or to get an ounce of gold. If you could get 2 grains, you'd only need 240 buckets to get an ounce of gold. So we always thought if we can't get 1 to 2 grains per bucket, it wasn't worth prospecting. So if you're out in your area gold panning and you're filling the same amount of dirt, because when you're in the water, it concentrates more, so you seem to find more gold, especially if you're in good gold bearing areas. You know, like you
Right.
get in California, some of them rivers, you can get some decent gold. I mean, I know people that go out and probably could get, you know, a gram or two a day, but you couldn't really do that out here in the desert, some of these washes, because it's just not like that. You know, it's not
Yeah, it's just very not predictable.
it's not concentrated. The washes are not, you know, 100 miles long, where everything's coming off these mountains and getting in the water, and then, you know, get settling out in your spots. Where here you got washes that might only be 20 feet long, 30 feet long, and so all you got is that little area. Well, the gold's not really going to. You're only going to get a smaller amount, in other words. So it's not like you guys in those Californias that has a lot of gold.
Well, the other thing, like when I first started out, like I was happy just finding a couple specks, you know, and I'd sit there for hours just panning a couple specks in a pan. But you know what I tell people too is like my goal was always to try and double up. So every single time I went out, I'd try to double my spec count. So now you know, my friend Linda too, she'd get hung up on just, you know, like 10 specks of pan when I sit there all day. I was like, no, we got to move on. And she's like, and then so it's funny now. She's like, no, I just want to go and hang out at a spot that has 30 plus, or you know, or 50 plus. I was like, so that now you're getting spoiled. I was like, what happened to when you were happy with, you know, 5 specs over there? So it's pretty funny. But I always tell people, just try and double up, move around, make a cross pattern, and then see, you know, once you can see and count your specs in a pan. That's why I like using a smaller one, because you can actually, you know, just one shovel, one pan, count your specs, see if it gets better or worse, and then you can kind of figure out the direction to actually move to or move away from. So that's how I do it anyway. So
Yeah, try to find the better spots. It's always better gold.
Yep. But thanks again for having me. It was fun. So we'll have to do it again sometime.
Yes. Well, we wish you a lot of luck in your prospecting. Wish you a lot of luck in your channels and success. And we appreciate you taking some time and hanging with us. So
yeah, and follow me on Facebook. And I think I almost have 1,000 subscribers now. I think it's at 995. So yeah, help me out.
yeah, go to Bare Hands Prospecting on Facebook and YouTube there. So, and I'll have to. I'm gonna make me a dry one of them classifiers out of dry and prove that there, because I need to do that. Anyways, you guys all have fantastic days, fantastic week. Remember, it's hump day, so get humping, everybody. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. Until our paths cross again, see you guys. Bye.